When communication is excellent inside an organization, there will be signs, and I can see them as a communications consultant with more than 15 years experience in this field. And people ask me all the time, what does really good internal communication look like? How would you know if you had it? What would you be looking for inside a company? That's what this video is for. I'm going to tell you 10 things that I see when I go inside an organization to send me a signal about how good the internal communication is. Now, here's a caveat before we get stuck in. Most organizations I see don't have all of this in place. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, I'm not doing any of this, or my company doesn't have any of this in place, don't worry. This is going to show you a good place to start and give you some things to aim towards. So no stress, no panic, no judgment here. Now, if you're watching this video, then you're obviously interested in really good internal communication. So before we get stuck in, I want to tell you about the sponsor of today's video who have a free download for you that is absolutely a must-have for anyone who wants to do a great job in internal comms. The sponsor today is Clearbox Consulting, and they make this incredible annual report that reviews all of the intranet and employee experience apps and platforms that are available on the market. If you work in internal comms, you absolutely need this report in your life. This reviews the pros and cons of tons of different platforms on the market. It's totally independent, so it's not telling you to pick one over the other, and it's super comprehensive, saves you loads of time on Google. I love this report. I'm always recommending it to my clients. I'm also recommending it to you. You can download it totally for free at the link below. This report is for you if you're looking to invest in any sort of an employee comms software or tool, if you're not quite sure where to start, or maybe you already have a tool and you want to benchmark it against what else is in the market. You can get it at the link below. Okay, let's get started. What does internal comms look like when it's really good? As a consultant, I get to be professionally nosy. I get to see inside some of the biggest, most famous companies in the world. Here are 10 things that I would see in a company that was doing a really good job in internal comms. Sign number 1, information flows in all directions and not just top down. In many organizations, particularly ones that might be more traditional, a bit more old school, internal communication tends to be leaders broadcast and employees are expected to just listen. It's a very top-down approach to communication. But in organizations with really excellent internal comms, I see more of a two-way dialogue. It's not just about leaders speaking and employees listening, but employees have ways to speak up, give feedback, share their stories, ask questions too. So for example, you might see a town hall meeting which has a really good chunk of time dedicated to employee questions, where leaders will really listen to what employees want to know, what they care about, and there'll be a genuine two-way conversation about those issues. Sign number 2 that an organization has really good internal comms, and this one might sound weird, but just stick with me. Bad news travels as good as good news. And counterintuitively, that's actually exactly what you want. Because when problems arise in companies that have really good communication, it's not all hush hush, top secret, closed ranks. There isn't a really active rumor mill because leaders aren't saying anything and employees have to make it up themselves. No, quite the opposite. Problems and bad news that employees need to know about are communicated honestly, transparently, and quickly. Now, this doesn't mean creating panic or oversharing on every single issue. It means that when something goes wrong that's going to impact employees or it's important to the company, that the communication response is swift and it's honest, and employees aren't left second guessing or being needlessly anxious. By the way, if this content is your jam and this is helpful to you already, hit that subscribe button down below. You'd be doing me a favor. Okay, let's go into sign number 3 that you have good internal comms in your company. Sign number 3 is that employees will hear about news or change from their employer and not from external sources. You would be amazed at how many times I've heard employees say that, well, I didn't know that this was happening in my company, but I heard about it on the news, I saw it on social media, someone in my family asked me about it. Companies with really good communication will always communicate news and changes to their employees first before it goes external to the company. Nothing destroys trust or morale greater than employees hearing news, particularly big, kind of anxiety-inducing news from an external source. So great internal communication systems have a deep commitment to talking to employees first. Sign number 4 that your company has great internal communication is that employees will understand the why as well as the what. Time and time again, I see leaders, I see organizations communicating big changes or a new strategy, just telling employees what's happening, but they don't take the time to explain why it's happening or how that decision was reached. And then they may get frustrated or wonder why employees aren't excited or why they're not coming along the journey. It's because they don't really understand the context. So it's really worth taking the time, not just this is the decision that we've reached and this is where the company is going, but this is how we arrived at this was the process, this is the thinking behind it, this is why all this is happening. When you take an intentional approach to really explaining the context and the why to employees, they are much more likely to come on the journey with you, back you, and get excited. Sign number 5, there is a clear rhythm to your internal communication and employees know what to expect, because excellent internal communication isn't random or ad hoc. It's quite rhythmic. It's got a predictable cadence. People aren't wondering when they might hear some news or how they're going to hear some news. They know what to expect and when to expect it. This might look like you have a team meeting with your manager every Monday. You have a town hall meeting with your CEO once a quarter. You have a department town hall at the end of every month. Whatever that looks like for you, there's a predictability there. There's a rhythm. There's a cadence. And the key is predictability. Employees will expect that information will come through on these channels on a reliable basis and they trust it. Sign number 6, that your organization is doing a really good job with internal communications. Employee feedback is actively sought out and acted upon. That second part's really important. We have probably all had that experience of working in a company where they do a big employee engagement survey. They encourage everyone to fill it out. You fill it out, it takes ages, you pour your heart and soul into it, and then absolutely nothing changes and there's complete crickets. And you're wondering, well, what was the point of that? But in a company with a really good system of internal communication, that's not going to happen. They are going to communicate about what is happening with the survey, what the results were, what they found out, and they will communicate an action plan or a roadmap, or here's what we're going to change because of all your feedback, thank you very much, and here's what you can expect to see over the coming months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is. And what you'll see in a company where this happens, it will create a kind of a virtuous cycle where employees are quite happy to share their feedback and they're quite happy to fill out the survey whenever it comes up because they know they're being listened to and changes are being made. Sign number 7. Communication is tailored to different internal audiences. If your company is doing internal comms really well, you'll notice that different employees get different messages, maybe through different channels. Because one size doesn't fit all in internal comms, not all employees need the same information and not all of them will have the same call to action of something they need to do. For example, the message being sent to a frontline worker in a factory might be very different to a message being sent to a corporate manager sitting in headquarters. The language used to communicate with different internal audience might be very different. Think about the type of language you might use with an engineer versus someone who's working in marketing. An excellent internal communication really thinks about the audience first. Who are they? What do they need to know? What's the best way to reach them? How should we communicate with them? Rather than just sending all staff emails for everything all the time. Sign number 8, you have really good internal comms, is that managers are supported to be great communicators. Do you know what I see a lot? I see people who are very competent in their roles, often have very technical, strong skills. They get promoted to managers and they get absolutely no support to be a great manager. Because stepping up to a manager level is very different. It's not an individual contributor job anymore where your technical skills matter. Your communication skills are the number one thing you need to be a great manager. But I don't see a lot of organizations that take that intentional step to A, tell people that communication is a really important part of being a manager, maybe the most important part, and B, to give them any sort of support or training on how to be a great communicator. And middle managers are often the forgotten heroes of internal communication because they are expected to take the information from leaders and cascade them down to employees. They are also taking the questions and queries from employees and maybe them asking up to the leaders. They're often stuck in the middle and they need a lot of support and help. And in organizations with great internal communication, they see this, they recognize this, and they invest time, energy, and money into helping their managers be great communicators. Sign number 9, that your organization is doing a really good job with internal communications. Employees can find the information they need when they need it. I cannot believe I even have to say this. It sounds so basic, but you would be shocked, or maybe you wouldn't be, shocked at how many organizations have not got this right. Time and time again, I see organizations with crumbling old channel infrastructure, say a really old intranet that's been around for 15 years and has never been updated. The search function doesn't work. All of the information is out of date. The content is not reliable. Finding basic information to do your job is almost like a really crap treasure hunt, and it wastes so much time. If that's you, by the way, please do get that Clearbox report that's down below, because it's going to help you out so much here. So what we're looking for in an organization with really good internal communication is a system where employees can easily and intuitively go and find the information they need to do their job well. That might be access to forms, HR policies, tools, or different software. Whatever it is they need to do their job, they should be able to just go and find it. Again, why do I have to say this? It's so basic, but this is a really fundamental piece that so many companies are missing. And sign number 10 that you're doing a really good job in internal communication is that communication is focused on driving action, not just awareness. I see so many companies who are sending out like high volumes of communications to their employees, and when you ask, well, why are you sending that? Oh, we just want them to know, we just want employees to be aware of it, we just need to send it out. And I'm thinking, but why? Why do they need to know? Awareness to what end? What do you want them to do with this information? Really, all you're doing is you're flooding employees with content they don't need, and you're overloading them with information that isn't helpful to them. Every communication should have a purpose beyond awareness, and I see this in organizations that are doing a really good job with internal comms. There is a clear communications objective behind communications. It's very clear why that audience is receiving that communication, what they're expected to do with the information, why it's important to the business. This just really helps make things relevant and useful for employees. So there you go, a whistle-stop tour of 10 of the signs that your company is doing a really good job in internal comms. Now I wonder, as you've been listening to this, how many of these are you thinking, actually my company does that really well, and then maybe on the flip side you're like, we actually don't do a good job on that. So again, please, no shame, no judgment. If you're like, my company doesn't do any of this very well, then please take this as some food for thought, for some inspiration. Take one thing from this video and get curious about how you could improve it in your organization. What are a few changes and tweaks that you could make to improve this in your company? And you can tell me about it in the comments. I do read all of them. If you enjoyed this video, do subscribe to my channel. You'll get notified when I produce more videos, and I'll see you next time.